Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Mallory and today I will be walking you through the Capstone 1 Candidate Guide. In Capstone 1, there is no new technical material. Instead, the Capstone 1 module focuses on the application of existing knowledge across all competency areas and on the further development of candidates' enabling skills. Capstone 1 combines individual and teamwork, supported by written assignments and oral presentations. Teams will typically consist of 4 to 5 candidates who will work together as consultants to resolve issues and provide recommendations. The team will present a final written and oral report to CPAs acting as a board of directors. The main challenge of Capstone 1 is the breadth of topic coverage across a vast majority of technical competencies. No individual candidate is expected to have all of this knowledge. Rather, the candidates will need to rely on other team members who are more expertise in this certain area. Team dynamics such as leadership, professionalism, ethics, teamwork, and self-management are critical to success in Capstone 1. Capstone 1 is also the foundation of Day 1 on the CFE, as this case will be reflective of your Capstone 1 company set in the future with new strategic options to consider. You will need to solve problems and make decisions in areas with significant integration opportunities and in situations with increased uncertainty. You must analyze problems where further information must be gathered. It should be noted that the quants will be difficult and will require a lot of detailed analysis and gathering of additional facts. You are to conclude and advise in situations where the decision criteria are difficult to determine or where there are decision criteria competing with each other. Note that there will be more than one correct conclusion, and you must be able to support yours with concrete facts and assumptions. You are to conclude and advise in situations where creativity is encouraged to develop solutions that are not obvious. Scheduling will also be a big challenge during the Capstone 1, as you will be dealing with individuals who have different busy times and availability. Capstone 1 begins with a module workshop. Attendance is required and participation will be graded. Candidates are expected to complete the module workshop pre-work as well. For the written report, there is one case that flows throughout Capstone 1. It is focused on strategic analysis and integrates all technical areas. As a result, team performance on the Capstone 1 case is assessed holistically. Teams will begin by preparing documents such as team agreement, project plan, and a project schedule. Then you are to submit the report in 3 parts, incorporating feedback received along the way. At the end of Capstone 1, each team will be responsible for providing a presentation on their Capstone 1 report. Teams will use presentation software such as PowerPoint and ensure their presentations do not exceed 30 minutes. The oral presentation should focus on the overall issues and recommendations. The presentation should not contain the same amount of detail as the written report. Here you see the schedule for Capstone 1. Outlining when your team and individual requirements are to be completed. Teams will take place in 2 live 30-minute chat calls with their facilitator in weeks 3 and 6 of the module. The purpose of the chat calls is to discuss the upcoming submission requirements, address any questions that the teams might have, and raise any concerns about the team dynamic. During the chat calls, facilitators cannot provide answers to the Capstone 1 case. However, they may be able to respond by asking probing questions to aid in the thought process. Additionally, feedback from peer assessments will be summarized by the facilitator and will be discussed during the chat sessions. The feedback from peer assessments will be purely anonymous. To pass each of the 3 sections in the report, a grade of 5 after revisions must be achieved. This means you must assure you have no outstanding RCs left on your report. Note that submissions are due Friday and revisions are due Monday end of day. In my experience, I would recommend scheduling team reviews prior to Friday in the case of any issues, and be sure to designate some time in your schedule for revisions just to be safe. Now let's discuss my key takeaways and advice on writing the report from going through my own Capstone 1 experience. Firstly, you want to schedule and plan everything ahead of time as much as possible. It can be a real challenge juggling a group of people's work and personal schedules together. But knowing which weeks may be more challenging will help you plan accordingly during these tough times. You want to meet as a group at the beginning of the week to divide responsibilities, so there is a time for individuals to ask for help or to make revisions where needed. I recommend as a team you review the submission guidelines, especially word count, so individuals do not occupy more of the word count, creating more work in the future for revisions to be done. While it can be challenging to work with individuals from vast experiences, it is also a major opportunity to leverage those strengths. For example, someone working within tax may provide more depth on tax implications. I also recommend understanding the entire report, not just the sections you're working on. This will be a huge benefit when you reach the presentation phase, where you may be required to present or answer questions on another team member's parts. It also ensures you have a clear vision recognized as a team throughout the module. Lastly, take advantage of the facilitator chats and come prepared with pressing questions you want to ask, as time is limited. Now let's discuss my key takeaways and advice on the oral presentation. Preparation to the presentation is key to overall flow and success. While you will want to focus on your individual parts, it's really important to practice together and to deal with handoffs between presenters and overall stage presence such as eye contact and posture. Be sure you really know your part, as there will not be any aids such as scripts involved. This is also your chance to be creative and make your presentation of a business proposal less detail-oriented and mainly focus on high-level strategic recommendations. I would recommend having backup slides with more details in the case that someone asks you during the Q&A session, so you have that information readily available. Since all team members will be required to answer at least one question, you should develop an approach as a team to who will answer, as well as anticipating questions that will be asked and practicing them. You can even strategically guide the viewers to ask questions you have prepared to answer. This will ensure your Q&A session runs seamlessly. And lastly, you're going to want to dress for success. Candidates should be dressed in professional business attire. And for example, when I was doing Capstone 1, my group thought it would be fun to even coordinate the colors that we wore as a group, just to do something to stand out. You have 2 roles during Capstone 1. The first is your individual role to be an active contributor to team discussions, to be reliable in getting your assigned tasks done, and to be committed and respectful to your team members. This will be important as you are being assessed by your peers. Your second role is that of a team to complete your reports, make decisions and recommendations as a team, to follow the criteria for both written and the oral presentation, and to set your expectations early. In my experience, setting expectations should be done as early as possible to ensure that everyone is on the same page and focusing on the same goals. Some final tips when going through the Capstone 1 is to make note of all important deadlines in the D2L calendar and to find your group within the class list section. Your job is to be equipped with using Zoom for team meetings and for facilitator meetings, and to review the criteria for report structures and submission names. But lastly, be sure not to stress throughout the process. While it does still require an active effort, the Capstone 1 has a 99% pass rate from our coaching experience. You should be using your free time during Capstone 1 to study for the CFE, and be sure to check out the video on how to prepare for the CFE so you are well equipped. If you have failed day 1 before on the CFE, consider our coaching program where students will get access to the new cases summaries and key takeaways to help them prepare for the new case. And with that, you're ready to begin your Capstone 1 case.